senior senator from the great state of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth, I should say. But you won't find John Kerry's yacht in the Bay State. The lovely Isabel, tied up in neighboring Rhode Island. Well, that's no problem, right? Unless it's there for tax evasion reasons. Nancy Skinner's up next.
Every 72 seconds, someone in America develops Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's causes memory, thinking, and behavior problems. Doctors in our community are looking for volunteers to participate in a clinical study of an investigational drug aimed at slowing down the progression of Alzheimer's disease. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mild to moderate Alzheimer's, are between 50 and 88 years of age, and has a caregiver who is willing to be involved in the study, please call 1-888-818-MEMORY for more information about this study.
The one show exposing outrageous.
I've said that we have. Wait a minute now. Let's get this very straight. I've said consistently we will pay our taxes. We've always paid our taxes. There's not an issue. Period. We've always paid our taxes. We'll pay our taxes. It's being worked on.
Well, that was Massachusetts Senator John Kerry defending himself against accusations that he may be trying to avoid paying taxes on his $7 million yacht by keeping it friendly state of Rhode Island instead of his own home state, which some critics call Taxachusetts. This is New York Congressman Charlie Rangel is reportedly making a last-minute effort to avoid an ethics trial over allegations that he evaded paying taxes, even though he was chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, which sets taxes, essentially. So why are some in Washington apparently so quick to collect your taxes, but reluctant to pay their own? Syndicated radio host Nancy Skinner is here. Nancy, I don't care whether you're Democrat or a Republican. You see the fat cats down in D.C. trying to avoid paying taxes, allegedly, so it would appear, and you get ticked off.
You know, Megyn, this proves one thing. Really, really rich people don't need more tax cuts because they're not creating jobs with them.
How does it prove that? John Kerry, well, he's found a way around. I mean, like, basically the deal was if he moors the boat in Rhode Island, he avoids $500,000 of taxes in his own state, Massachusetts. So he's apparently skirting the tax laws right now. At least that's the allegation, which he denies.
Right, that's the allegation. He says that it's being repaired and then it'll be brought back and he'll pay whatever taxes. So I don't think
the media scrutiny there.
I think that he hasn't fallen into the Charlie Rangel zone, which I think sounds a lot more serious than what's going on with Senator Kerry. But you know what? I can't, Megyn, today, you got me. I mean, there's just too much money in politics. I got to say this overall. I looked at the net worth of Congress people, and it's extraordinary. There are 237 millionaires in Congress. 44% of all of Congress are millionaires, whereas among the general public, it's 1%. And I guess what upsets me about that is either they come in with a ton of money or they don't. They only make $169,000 in the Senate.
How'd they get so rich?
And they have 2 homes. So how do they get so rich? Right. So it's either way. You buy the seat because you have the money, or you somehow get wealthy when you're there. And I got to say, I think that is a problem. Too much money in politics is a problem.
This is the kind of thing that disgusts the American people, right? I mean, now listen, obviously Charlie Rangel, I mean, he's been accused by Democrats and Republicans of violating the ethics rules. And John Kerry, you know, now that the media spotlight is on him, I have no doubt he will be paying the taxes and be bringing that boat, the Isabel, the yacht, back to Massachusetts. But the question is, what if the media scrutiny hadn't come on John Kerry? Would he have been able to avoid $500,000 in taxes plus another several, I don't know, something like a year by docking his yacht in Rhode Island? And nobody would have known, because you and I know, Nancy, if you and I tried to do that, we'd get caught and we'd be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But it seems like when people in Congress do it, people look the other way.
Well, in fact, Charlie Rangel might be cutting a deal as we speak that I don't know would be available to the general public, a deal, if you say. But, you know, John Kerry has had a lot of scrutiny throughout his career, obviously. So I would be shocked, really, if he was trying to get away with something. To him, $500,000 isn't much.
Why is he keeping that yacht in Rhode Island? He lives in Massachusetts.
You know what?
His summer home is in Nantucket.
it is getting repaired, and I think those facts have to bear themselves out.
You can't find any good repairman in Massachusetts these days. Everyone knows that.
There is an arrogance, I must say, and it is proven statistically that rich people do evade taxes more than poor people evade taxes. That's why
they hire the
IRS
fancy
really
accountants, and they help them not pay taxes, right?
Yeah, and no one wants to pay taxes. Our country was founded, Megyn, because of the Stamp Act and the tea tax. That was the Revolutionary War. I understand not wanting to pay it, but when you're in this high profile of a job, a position representing the public interest, one, you got to do everything, dot every I and cross every T, and two, the bigger question, I think, is so wealthy by being a member of Congress. Are they investing in corporations?
Well, John Kerry married money.
TARP funds. He married into his with Teresa Hines, right? But how,
that is good catch-up.
I'm happy. I'm happy to say the new chair of the Ways and Means is Sandy Levin from Michigan, and he had actually a negative net wealth. So you don't have a real fat cat. He's a simple, honest man from my home state who is now leading the Ways and Means
But doesn't
Committee,
it play into this bigger narrative about what's happening with Rangel? That you've got a couple of Democrats coming out and saying he needs to resign. This bipartisan committee has said that he's committed ethics violations. And doesn't that play into a bigger narrative about just accountability? I don't care whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. Just the American people don't want to see two rules. As John Edwards once said, how did he put it? The two Americas,
Yeah. Right.
They don't want to see that.
Hey, Megyn, we're the same note today, surprisingly, because you know what? It does play into the narrative of the anti-incumbency, and people are sick of incumbents who they feel are incompetent. And a lot of that I've debated you about because I think we're on the right track economically. But when you see pictures like this where congressmen are evading their responsibilities or it's sketchy, let's just say, yeah, it feeds right into it. It's not good for the Democratic Party. It's time for new blood. It's time to move on. I don't believe that this should be a lifetime appointment to be a member of Congress. And I think we'll see a shakeup in November. But I still believe in where we're going. Our policies that President Obama are enacting are the right ones. It's that sometimes I think there's an arrogance, there's a complacency that stays with being in office that long.
Nancy, maybe we are wrong. Maybe Senator Kerry is doing everything on the up and up, and you just have to have a $7 million yacht to understand the system. So. We may be in the dark. I got to run. I wish I knew too. Educate me, John. All right. Thanks, Nancy. What do you think? What do you think about it? Do you think it's a double standard? They are investigating Charlie Rangel, so there's that. And John Kerry did get outed by the media if, in fact, he's doing something wrong. So maybe it's all much ado about nothing. You tell me. Kelly at FoxNews.com. Well, he is never shy about expressing his viewpoints, and most of